Hey everyone, Phil here from Warhammer Online, and I've just picked up the Warhammer Underworld Shadespire Chosen Axes. So I'm pretty excited about these. As you know, or at least if you've been watching any of our content recently, I'm working pretty hard on a Fyreslayer army for the doubles tournament coming up at Warhammer World at the end of March. And I saw this as a great opportunity to get a Shadespire team painted as well, since I've already got 100 dwarves on my desk right now. Why not add 4 more? And that would act as a great introduction to Shadespire as well. So I've been really getting into skirmish games. I've been having quite a few lately, so I thought this would be a great opening into Shadespire. So I've treated myself to the models and the dice. I thought we'd do a quick review just to see what they look like. Right, let's just get into these. Okay, fairly standard box. Things about constructing your desk and building your models, they're the easy assemble models. They already come color coded, but you know, I'm going to be getting these painted straight away, so I'm not too worried about that. You get 4 fighters, 4 fighter cards, 29 chosen axes, and 31 universal upgrade, deploy, and objective cards. Now, as I've said, I've not played Shadespire before, so I'm sure that's wonderful to have, and I'm sure it'll be very useful for my team, so very excited about that. Really what I want to see is what the models are like, more than anything at the moment, so that's what I'm interested in. Let's just get into the box straight away, and right. Okay, first impressions. Well, that's interesting. Something that struck me straight away, these bases. Let's just move that to one side for a second. These bases look incredible, and I know I probably shouldn't be talking about the bases, but you know, I've got a bit of a thing for the bases, so let's just zoom in there. There we go. So this is awesome, and he's given me lots of ideas actually for my actual army. I think I might be getting onto the 3D printer and designing a few bases that look like that. They look fantastic. The next thing that struck me was the Runefather's axe, which was, I know it sounds daft, I've seen plenty of photos of these guys. I was expecting the axe to be much bigger because, you know, from my experience with the key axe from the Runefather on the MacLeod, and in fact, actually, let's just have a quick look at that. Yeah, you can see the Runefather from the MacLeod from the main kit. His axe is much bigger. It kind of makes sense not to have the axe that big. This is meant to be, to a degree, standing on the back of you know, a MacLeod, so you need the extra reach. I like that idea, and also given this is kind of for the Shadespire board game, it does kind of make sense it's smaller. Yeah, I don't know where that leaves me actually. I think it leaves me, I'll definitely use him as the Runefather on foot, I think, or at least, saying that, he just looks like a dude with an axe. He's far less elaborate than the Runefather model, so maybe not. But I might take a string from that bow in terms of maybe shortening these axes. That's probably a good idea actually. I might shorten the axe for the Runefathers on foot, just so it doesn't look so crazy in terms of the length. It's the first time I've seen some of these coloured models. I'm pretty impressed. To say they're quick fit, get playing straight away, there's plenty of detail in there. Particularly if you look at the mohawk there and the crest, that looks pretty impressive actually. Not so much on that beard piece there, it's not as defined, and that's, you know, how they've chosen to do the beard down there. Don't know whether that picks up super well on the camera. It's not bad. I think you're going to have to paint a little bit more detail in, again, than comparable to what you get with the Age of Sigmar standard models. But I like the poses, I like the axes, I really love the bases. So I'm going to be taking a lot from that. As you can see, there's a beard section there as well, which overlaps that other beard section I was talking about there, so that will add detail. Okay, so quickly on to the next sprue. Again, I'm loving this base detail. I have to say, I'm going to be getting 3D software out and designing some of my own bases, because I was going to go the standard sort of cork route, but I've been holding off on doing the cork effect, thinking, is there something else I can do? And I really like the deep definition of those cracks. Now, that'd be quite hard to do as a surface texture, unless I'm prepared to add quite a bit of height to the standard Games Workshop bases. So I might actually just create an entire base in 3D, and I'll probably do a recess for a magnet as well for use on things like A cases. Yeah, back to the model though. Wow. There's some good poses in here, definitely. I mean, it's very familiar to the models. I think the runes are well defined. The Urgol runes look really well defined on the skin tones. I think it's nice to have some different poses available to us. But first and foremost, this is about a team that is aimed at Shadespire, so that's what I'm going to use them for first and foremost. I was kind of hoping I'd get some extra characters out of this, to be honest. I don't think there's a huge distinction between this team and you know, the standard models, you know, the short-handed. If there's one thing I've taken from it, is the idea of shortening the keys, the key hammers. You know, for the rune fathers on foot. I think that's definitely one thing I've taken. Other than that, I think given the bases are really cool on these, and given the sculpts are really quite nice, particularly I love this pose here with the axe just resting across the shoulders. I actually think I'm just going to put these to one side and use them for Shadespire as my Shadespire team. I think that's what I'll probably do. So I don't think I'm just going to include the models into the army itself. I have to say though, I think the double-handed one would make a nice Carl for the Berserkers, but yeah, needless to say though, it would be nice to use a slightly alternative pose. Yeah, they may feature, but I think the reality is I'll focus on getting these done along with the rest of the army, and let's get some Shadespire games played. It's not just about the models, we also have the Shadespire Chosen Axes cards to go with all of this, so I've got to read this first. Before assembling your miniature, blah blah blah. Nice painting scheme in there. You know what, that model does look great when you just see it painted up, doesn't it? I think it's almost hard to judge the models based in the flat colour. It's kind of strange how your eyes get used to viewing a model in grey. Right, well, here we're into the cards. I've not opened these, so I'm sure they're amazing. I'm not quite sure what they actually do. I'm guessing that these are the 31 universal upgrades maybe, or that could be what's inside there. We've got 29 Chosen Axes. So here we go, Chosen Axes deck 1 of 2, Chosen Axes deck 2 of 2. I'm really going to have to get into Shadespire, aren't I? I've kind of, I have to say, I've avoided the game, not in, you know, massively so, but as we've just said in the channel update, we are trying to remain focused on some projects and get some projects completed, so not really delve too deeply into Shadespire. But I'll be cracking these open and having a look, you know, and I have to say I'm not in a huge position to judge the cards in terms of their value, given I don't really know the game. For me, the takeaway from all of this is the models are nice, they're really nice. The bases are amazing, so definitely going to be messing around with those a little bit. And yeah, it's, you know, actually for 4 models plus the deck, it's not bad value, is it really? I think this is an interesting direction that GW have gone with Shadespire. I'm looking forward to getting into it. Well, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the quick look through the box. You know, if you're into Shadespire at all, this is definitely going to be a team to go for, because let's face it, dwarves and beards are the best. Right, thank you very much, and hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.